Hi, I'm Tim Clark, the General Manager of ShareScope. Now, you really can't appreciate just how fast and easy to use ShareScope is without seeing it. So I'm going to spend a few minutes showing you just how it works. Because whether you're a spread better or a longer term investor, ShareScope really can transform the speed with which you find exciting new opportunities. So what we've got here is a list of shares in ShareScope. In particular, we've got the FTSE 100 shares, and this is what we call ShareScope's list screen. It's a list of instruments with a number of data columns with which you can compare each instrument. Now you'll see that I've got this sorted alphabetically, but it's just as easy for me to sort by any other column, just like that. Now, the configuration of this table is entirely up to you. ShareScope comes with a number of defaults, but you can set tables up to show exactly the information you're interested in. But I'll come back to that later. There's several ways I can move through the list here. I can click on the company I'm interested in. I can scroll through the list one by one just by pressing the space bar. Or I can just start typing the name of the company I'm interested in. So let's look for Rio Tinto. I'm literally typing Rio on my keyboard, and there we go. ShareScope has found it for me. Now, the list screen is one of three main views in ShareScope. As well as the list screen, we have the price chart and we have the company details screen, which gives us in-depth, fundamental and company information for each company. Now I can move between these three views. I can cycle through them simply by pressing the Enter key. So I'm going to press Enter now, which takes me from the list screen to the price chart, and I press Enter again and I'm at the company details screen, and notice that it's displaying information for the company that is currently selected on the list screen. And if I press Enter key again, I go back to the list. I can go backwards through that cycle using the Escape key. So escape back to details, to the chart, and back to the list again. Now in any of these different views, the chart here for example, I can again scan through the companies on the list by pressing the space bar. Or I can again just start typing the name of the company I want. There we go. Now for spread bettors, you can see just how powerful this is. If you have a long list of shares that each day you like to look through, looking for your favourite trading signals or particular chart formations, you can see that you can very easily just go through that list. And you could, for example, scan through the FTSE 100 charts in a matter of minutes, whereas on a web-based service or maybe other software systems, it could take a lot longer. Now, if I go back to our list screen here, notice we were looking at cable and wireless here, go back to the list screen, and cable and wireless is the selected company. Now, for the investors amongst you, you'll probably be more interested in the in-depth data we have on each company. Now I'm going to go back to BP here. We've already seen how using the list screen here we can compare companies using a variety of data items, and we can sort this table as we like. And we've also seen, using the company details screen, how we can do in-depth research on the fundamentals for that company. But there are a number of other data sets as well that ShareScope includes, and these too can be accessed very, very quickly using a single keystroke. So for example, if I press the / key here, I get a list of the latest news stories for that company, and I can double click on these stories and close them. And now if I press the / key again, it takes me back to where I was. Likewise, if I press the full stop key, I get a table of the director and major shareholder dealings for that company. And again, by pressing the full stop key again, I go back to where I was. Pressing the shift and full stop gives me key dates for the business. And by pressing Control W, ShareScope will open the company's website in a browser window for you. So let's say you read a buy tip in the Investors Chronicle or the Sunday papers. You open up ShareScope, you type in the name of the company that you're interested in, and with less than a dozen keystrokes, you can perform in-depth research on the company. You can look at its results, forecasts, headline ratios, risk metrics, broker consensus, sector ranking. You can look at company news, director and shareholder dealings. You can look at the price chart. You can look at the company website to look at information on new products. You can look at the investor relations page. And ShareScope really is about enabling you to do more research in the time you've got to make you better informed, ultimately to help you make better investment decisions. Now let's go back to our list screen for a moment. So I'm going to press the Enter key here. Go to the list screen. Now remember I said you can configure these tables to show exactly the information you're interested in. Now you can configure multiple tables in ShareScope. I've created this table here for my own use. It's an overview screen. I've got price information, I've got broker information, I've got some headline ratios and some rank and risk information. But I've got a number of other tables down here on the toolbar which I can click on and apply just with a single click of the mouse. So if I click on this table here, I've got price performance for each company across a number of time periods there, and again I can sort on these as I like. I've got a table here which gives me an indication of financial strength. I've got a number of financial metrics at the top here, balance sheet values and other ratios, for example. And notice also in ShareScope how simply by hovering the mouse over various data items, ShareScope reveals another level of data. And these are just some of these simple, elegant design ideas in ShareScope which save you time. So, the list screen, we can create different tables. If we look at the chart screen, again, this is a particular chart configuration I've set up. It's open, high, low, close bars over a 6-month period with various moving averages and a number of indicators at the bottom here. Again, I've got different chart setups that I can add with a single click of the mouse. And so again, if you're a spread better and you're scanning through your list and you find a chart you like the look of, then again you can look at different chart layouts looking for supporting or maybe conflicting signals, but again to help you make better trading decisions. And just quickly I'll show you, it's very easy to draw lines on ShareScope's graphs and even to stick alarms on these lines just like that. And in ShareScope, when you draw lines on charts or you annotate, put notes on there or draw shapes, then they stay there. Next time you log into ShareScope, the lines will be there. You won't have to redraw them again. Similarly, on the company details screen, again, you can configure this layout to look just how you want it to contain the information you're most interested in. You might, for example, want to create different layouts for different types of company. It's all up to you. ShareScope really does enable you to configure it to suit your very own personal requirements.